Did you give ride to cool friends at the first mission event?
What friends? I don't know anything about my car. Well, you can watch that live at BHV Twitch /.com. What?
Nobody's waiting at the end of the tightrope. I'm always fixing and repeating the cycle. I said that I never run, but I might go. I guess I'll see you at the end of the spiral. I told you I'm a mess. Am I alive or dead? I'll take your mind into the darkness. Don't waste your time. I'm numb and heartless. I'll take your mind into the darkness.
Alright guys, my name is Chris. You might know me online as BHV Drift. Back again with the vlog and kind of picking up where we left off. Last time I made a video like this, I believe we were working on the rx-7, the KAT powered rx-7, and we had just come off of an engine failure and we had the engine rebuilt by Valley Speed here in Kamloops.
Only trying to be whole again. Live underwater, but I swear that I'm over it. I fooled you one last time. Don't wanna let you down again. You said I never tried. I love you till the end. I told you I'm a mess. What's going through your head? Well, you can have what's left. Am I alive or dead? I'll take your mind into the dark.
Since then, we finished that, and I actually was able to test it. We got it all tuned by Post Haste Performance in Chilliwack, and the oil pan fixed, and everything seemed to be working really good. We had some minor leaks from the oil pan, but decided it was safe. There was really little to be done about it, other than replacing the oil pan again, and I wasn't going to do that. We needed to get out and drift, so we brought the car to Mission. I believe the event was like April 11th or something like that. Either way, we went out there, and we actually had a really good day. Unfortunately, it was a little bit rainy. I'll run some clips for you, but it was a little bit rainy, but it all worked really good. The car actually banged. It was like, I previously drove a stock SR20 powered car, and this thing felt like it would just kick the shit out of my SR car. It was good. I felt like I had good power, and I was able to basically link the whole track without issues, and it was a lot of fun. And honestly, the best part about it was the first time I was able to bring Brooke and the kids to come drive, and it was really cool because I was able to take Vincent in the car. And another big bonus, I was able to meet some internet friends I've had. Pretty much anybody who follows me probably also follows a guy named Jack Banana, and it was really, really cool to be able to meet Jack in real life and bring him in the car and take him for some rips. And that was just super, super cool. So I was really happy to do that. I was able to take Vincent for a ride. Scarlett got to watch me drive for the first time, and then I was able to take Jack for a ride, and also another good buddy who actually basically started my whole Twitch streaming career. His name is Frax. He's also a streamer on Twitch, and he does lots of cool car stuff and woodworking, and basically automotive-based woodworking, and it was really cool. So it was really nice to meet those guys in person and go. And we went the whole event, start to finish, without a single issue. It was honestly really good. So after that, I was all pumped, right? So fast forward to the next event. It was also another mission event, and this one was a little bit better because it was mostly in the dry. The first mission event, it was really rainy, and we got to experience the car in the dry, which was good. But about, I don't know, halfway through the day, we started experiencing some issues with the car. I went out for a lap. It was all good. Came back, picked up another passenger for a ride along, and when I went back out onto the track, I did the first 1-2 pull, about to enter the corner, and I heard a whistling sound, and it was immediately my brain triggered, and I was like, whoa, that's weird. What's that new sound? And then I look at my oil pressure and look at the rest of my gauges, and everything looked fine. So I continued on my lap, but as I got around the back straight, it kind of felt a little bit underpowered compared to the first event. Like I said earlier in the first event, I was able to connect the whole track like smoky as can be, running 225 wide tires in the rear, and it was really good. But this time, it was kind of felt like it was losing a bit of power, so it was really weird. But again, my gauges were all good, air fuel ratios were good, oil pressure was good, temps were good, so I just kept sending it to see if anything else would happen, and it was able to drive pretty good still. But then, at the very end of the track, right after a pretty heavy weight transfer, the car would kind of stall right out, and it was quite honestly weird. And the car's RPMs would go from 6,500, 7 grand near redline, and it would just kind of slowly fall down to nothing with 0 throttle response. It was super weird. And at this point, it was only doing it at the very end of the lap. I would get off the track, fire it back up, and everything would be fine. So I don't know what it is, maybe like a heat soak thing or an oil slosh thing. I don't really know, but it was weird. So we get home, we go through the whole car with a fine-tooth comb, and we could not find anything. Sorry, we found a couple things. We had a couple small boost leaks, because the first thing, obviously, I was like, oh, well, I got a whistling sound and I'm losing a bit of power, so I probably have a boost leak, right? So we hooked up the boost leak tester to this thing, and we found basically it had a small leak out of one of my intercooler pipes on the cold side, a small boost leak from my cylinder 1 injector grommet, and a rather large leak actually from my EGR block-off plate. So we fixed all 3 of those, went for a test drive, and it was the exact same thing. Like literally, like whistling like a freaking whistle. and it was still feeling a little bit sluggish. So we spent, I don't know, another week or so trying everything I could think of diagnostic wise to figure out what's going on with this thing. Went as far as pulling the whole turbo out, brought it to Total Turbo here in Kamloops. Addison there, the owner, he's a good guy, by the way. He took it all apart, and he was very confident that it was not my turbo. The turbo was in great shape. The wastegate was functioning properly. There was no damage or scoring on the turbo whatsoever. So plopped it back in, spent a bit more time on diagnosis, and basically had no luck. And in the time of testing all that stuff, I found that my goddamn oil pan was still leaking a little bit. So we were stuck with a car that was feeling sluggish and making some funny noises, and we couldn't figure it out. But a friend of mine, Ryan Westfall, you guys probably know him from the stream. He used to be part of the stream here back when we were known as Rogue Mentality. So he invited me out to basically a very one-off event. It's an event that doesn't normally do drifting. A town nearby us called Lillooet, they had a big drag race event, and it's a pretty big event, and they wanted some essentially a halftime show entertainment. So they basically got some drifters to go out there, and we would go drive on the drag strip and kind of in and around the pits. So I decided, whatever, we're gonna go give this thing another shot. We're gonna see how it works. I changed a bunch of things. I tested everything I possibly could, and I didn't know at this point if I had fixed the stalling issue or not. The whistling sound and the low power was a little bit less important to me because I had good gauge readings. I had good oil pressure, AFRs, everything. So, and I hadn't been able to test it since the last mission event. So I for all I knew, the stalling issue was fixed from like the boost leak or something. Who knows? But so we went out to Lillooet, and we drove a few laps there with Mr. Cody Ross and Ryan, and we honestly had a really good time. It was kind of a fun layout too. We come right flying out of the pits, we cross over into the drag strip, we do 2 big fat mongees through the drag strip, turn around and come back the other way, and it was honestly really fun. But I was only able to get like 3, maybe 4 laps, and then the car would stall again, and so we didn't fix it, long story short. But we were already out in Lillooet, so might as well just let the car cool down and keep running it. So that's what we did. We do a few laps, the car would stall out, and then I would let it cool off and then go back out there again. But Cody, he swore to me that he was gonna take care of me, he said. So I was like, okay, I'll lead. Cody's gonna take care of me, right? But it happened at the worst time. We We go out, do halfway through the lap, and coming back after the turnaround, and the Cody was right on my door, and the car stalled out from 7,000 RPM to nothing. So I was sideways, and it just straightened out, and then obviously Cody, if you know Cody, you know he's a great driver. He was like on me. He was on me. So he instantly just hits me on the front, does that, and then he swings around, hits me on the right, and it was actually pretty cool. He managed to dent my tailpipes in on either side. But luckily the damage wasn't too bad. You can see here, it's just a bumper and the tailpipes got damaged, but basically after that I was a little bit scared to keep driving, so I didn't want to get into any more accidents. So that was kind of the end of the day there. But it was really fun. We got to drive a bunch. And after that, I was thinking, shit, I'm running out of money. The summer's running out of time. We need to get drifting again. So we decided, and pretty much all my friends for years now have been nagging me for this, but I also have a 240 SX. And some of my personal friends here in town, they know that I've drifted this car. I started driving it in 2013, and I drove it competitively from 2013 until when was, I think my last event was in 2016, and I had a pretty good competitive career. I qualified and came third place in my very first comp, and then I was able to pull off a few wins in it. But after, I think it was 2015 or 2016, I decided that it was, after having a pretty successful competitive career, I was going to up my game, and I was going to try for a Formula Drift Pro-Am. So we brought the car to Four Function in Kelowna, got a nice Formula Drift spec cage built, brought it back, did some more work, put the dash all back in, and then we brought it out to Independent Speed Shop and on the coast as well. Did a full standalone, got a Chris Scremin special turbo, a GT2868R, and basically just a quicker spooling disco potato, if you know what those are. It's basically just a turbo that's going to get me a nice boost in the low end, so I get good torque, and it's obviously desirable for drifting. So we did all that, and the car made, I think it was just over 300 horsepower, or just shy, I can't quite remember. I think it was like 290 horse and a little bit over 300 torque. And we brought the car back, and then it wasn't quite finished, and I was kind of got scared of it. I really did. I was a little bit in over my head. I've never dealt with a standalone ECU. I'd never dealt with any of this higher power things, and I didn't really know how to finish the car. So I let it sit, and fast forward 6 years later, I hadn't finished it yet. So I have this caged Formula Drift Pro-Am spec drift car sitting there, and we thought, damn, it's time. So I had a friend of mine from the stream. You guys probably know him too if you've been in the streams. His name is CactusGuss. He came by, and he was just like, he pulled his whip out, boys. He was like, Chris, we got to get this done, dude. You got this gnarly car. We need to drift. And I was like, you know what? I agree. The only reason I didn't up until this time is, as you guys know, I really like FC rx-7s. These cars are my first favorite car. They're part of me now. I have a lot of love for these cars. So I wanted so bad to be able to have an FC rx-7 drift car, but it just wasn't gonna happen. So we pulled out this dilapidated old dirty ass S13 into the shop. We spent about a week of hard, I don't know what you would call it, refreshing, restoring, I don't know. We cleaned the piss out of it. We cleaned the piss out of it. We got all the pine needles, pine cones, dust, dirt, and Nerf darts from the kids out of this thing. And we did a little bit of wiring work, built a battery box, got it all mounted up, and basically all the little things that we needed to be done. And got it just about ready for drifting. So after that, we rushed it over to Post Haste Performance in Chilliwack. Thanks, Dan. He did a phenomenal job. We brought this car there, and it was a little haggard. He had some stuff to do. The injectors were plugged up. The fuel pump was suspect. There was some things it was needing. It had a little bit of a misfire at idle. it sat for 6 years with E85 in it, so who knows? I wouldn't know if the thing was rusted solid in the inside of the engine. I don't know. But long story short, he did a phenomenal job. He pulled out an extra just about 100 horsepower out of this thing over the previous shop that tuned it, and it made 386 horsepower to the wheels and the same torque, and it feels insane. I cannot wait to show you what this thing can do, and we're excited. We have a caged drift car so we can get back into the tandems and mission, and yeah, it bangs.